You're watching Paris for Kids.
This is Paris for Kids, and this video is about the first arrondissement. The main attraction on Ile de la Cité is Notre Dame Cathedral. The cathedral opened in 1345. Construction began almost 200 years earlier in 1163. Honestly, it's a little overwhelming for kids. A quick walk around is fine, but no more than that. Forget about climbing the South Tower. There are 387 steps. You'll wait in line for hours, and the view from the top isn't worth it. However, behind the cathedral is a quiet little park with a small playground. There are benches, and it's very relaxing. The other main attractions on the island are Sainte-Chapelle, which has a stunning display of stained glass, if it's sunny, and the Tuileries, which is depressing, whether it's sunny or not. Kids love Sainte-Chapelle, but the lineups are always long, often 2 or 3 hours. The Conciergerie used to be a prison. It's where Marie Antoinette was held prior to her execution in 1793. I would avoid it. Ile Saint-Louis is residential and holds little interest for kids, but walking along the quay and watching the river traffic is something they will enjoy. Okay, let's shift to the right bank. In the first arrondissement, there are the Louvre and the Tuileries. The Louvre is the busiest museum in the world. There are always lots of people in the Louvre. If you really want to go, I would suggest 1, that you buy your tickets at Fnac, and 2, you plan a quick trip. Fnac is a store with branches everywhere. It sells books, CDs, DVDs, and computer stuff. It also sells tickets, both online and in the stores themselves. Buying tickets at Fnac is much better than standing in line at a museum, especially the Louvre. I'll have more on Fnac in a later video. Also, plan to be at the Louvre for no more than an hour. See the Mona Lisa, the Winged Victory, and the Venus de Milo, but then leave. Your kids will have seen enough. The Tuileries, on the other hand, are kid-friendly. They're generally not crowded. At one end, near Place de la Concorde, there are trampolines. Close by, there's an Amorino concession selling gelato. There are lots of fountains and trees, and it's just a beautiful place to be. There are also 2 outdoor restaurants. You can have lunch in what used to be the King's backyard when the Louvre was the royal palace. Of the 2, we have always preferred the southern restaurant, the one nearer the Seine. Lunch is inexpensive and fairly good. It's very basic stuff, ham and cheese crepe and sausages and fries and the like, but it's very pleasant. In July, there's an amusement park set up in the Tuileries. It's not very big, but most of the rides are for people who have attained their full height and still like this kind of thing. But there are a few rides for young children. For 7-year-olds and up, the bumper cars are the top draw. But there are rides for younger children too. I have to say, however, that Paris in July can be very hot, and there's no real shade in this part of the Tuileries. As well, a far better amusement park for children is the one in the Jardin d'Acclimatation in the Bois de Boulogne, which I will talk about in a later video. And honestly, that's about it. There's not much else of interest for kids at the first. If you're in the Tuileries, you can exit to the north and walk up to Place Vendôme, where Chopin died, and where all kinds of high-end businesses have their shops. If you keep on going, and get to Rue de la Paix, which is home to some of the world's richest jewelers and watchmakers, and then finally you reach the Opera, you'll finally get to the reason you took this walk. I think the Opera will spellbind any child. You can sit in a cafe and just look at it, or you can visit it experiencing the opulence firsthand. Architecturally, by 21st century standards, it's a little busy, but it's impossible not to be staggered by that busyness. A final place that my son enjoyed in the first is a large church called Saint Eustache that has a wonderful pipe organ, the largest in France, in fact. We were there twice when the organist's keyboards were down on the floor of the church and the organist was performing. That will keep your kids' attention and yours for a good half hour. The guidebooks say they have a free recital there every Sunday, but the 2 occasions I saw the organists playing were on a Saturday and a Friday. In the next video, we'll look at the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th arrondissement. And then we'll cross the river to the left bank.